everyone is joining in. I was just starting to tell everyone that I've been trying to count how many years we've now know each other, and it seems like it's more than 10 years.
More than 10. More than 10. I was 8 years at Urban Retreat, and I think that I think you started stalking me at year 5.
That's it. So I think that's a good place to start, because people need to understand what the story is about, you know.
Okay. Shall I tell the story?
Would you like to tell my story?
I'll tell you a story. So what happened is Jamila and her fabulous sister were both clients of the Urban Retreat, and they used to come in frequently and see all of the amazing service providers there, and had great relationships. And I'd gone around and introduced myself because, of course, they were valuable clients. And Jamila had told me that she was working on a product, and I said, "Oh, fabulous! You know, can't wait to try it and see it." And then she presented the product. Next time I was left some product, and we met, and I said, "Oh, you know, I feel like it's not well known enough for us, and I'm not so sure." And I tried the products, and I loved the serum and the lotions. And I said, "Oh, I'm not sure. We've got this brand coming," and you know, we were launching lots and lots of brands. And every week when Jamila came in, she would leave something with a product and a reminder. So the tenacity, you know, she totally grew on me all of the time, her energy. And
let's be honest, it was a bit of a stalker situation.
It was, and everybody was kind of getting worried as well for me. And then I went away for the Christmas break, and I'd gone away with my family the day before Christmas Eve. And this beautiful package had arrived in my office. Well, anybody that shops in Harrods will know that, you know, space is such a premium. You cannot, in my office was not much bigger than a bathroom, actually, and I used to share it with the amazing Daisy.
I remember that office.
Tiny, yeah. No windows, no, you know, just one door in, one door out. And my meetings used to be with my team sitting on a filing cabinet talking to me, which, you know, we'd had the cafe to meet as well. But and this beautiful hyacinth had been left, and it was wrapped up in a vase, which I still have today. And the bulb in the pot covered in this black tissue paper. So this plant with no air, no water, and no light in this tiny little office that was, you know, the size of a toilet cubicle, managed to blossom. And when I came back, I think it was like the 7th or 8th of January by the time I come back to work, and the office smelled divine. I came back the day before, Daisy. The office smelled absolutely divine, and this weak but beautiful hyacinth had managed to burst through the tissue paper, scent the room.
That's the belief. You know, that's the power of belief.
That's it. That's the sign. She's won me over. And from then on, we launched the brand, and we had a lovely treatment specialist come in and offer treatments. And the launch was this beautiful wish tree, and it was encouraging people to put their wishes onto a tree and to feel good and positive about the future. And it was so inspiring to every single client and guest of the Urban Retreat. The tree, by the end of the launch, was just full of people's wishes. Yeah. And actually, I think that made me love the brand even more, because you know, people's wishes, it wasn't just for, you know, a new car, a great holiday, and a handbag. They were beautiful, beautiful wishes that really resonated. And I think that I spent a whole week reading those wishes and crying.
It's incredible. No, it's incredible, because I think for the first time, I think it was me and you that really connected on this very creative level. And I think that's what drew us to each other, I guess, apart from my stalking, of course. I think it was the vision to see things differently. Yeah. And I always admire that about you, is kind of finding that rough diamond maybe that no one has recognized yet, and then nourishing it in the right way, and, you know, advising. And that's what I always felt that we did so well together. You know, I would come with my crazy ideas, and then you would suddenly turn them into something a bit more tangible and a bit more of a plan. And it was great. I mean, you know, that's how we met. And I think I would like to believe that's how our friendship became, you know, that was the ground for our friendship for many years to come after. And even now, you know, we sometimes have our teas, although we were both very busy, but you especially were globally flying and doing all those crazy things. So I would text you, let's have a tea, I missed you, you know, but you still always manage to find time. And that's always a nice thing, you know, to know that someone is kind of connects to you in that way and keeps the friendship going. I think that's very special.
Well, I think that over time you do, you know, I always say that people are here for a lesson, a reason, or a season, and you need to define which one. And sometimes the lessons are good and sometimes the lessons are, you know, are challenging. But I think that when it's for a reason, it's because you resonate and you connect. And I think that those friendships are worth, you know, really worth applying the effort and treasuring. And I love to be around people that, you know, have wacky ideas and are truly inspirational and visionary about what the future can hold, not just for beauty products, but for personal connection and engagement and keeping things meaningful and relevant. And I think that's what you bring. You always look for ways to touch people, to help to make their lives better. And that's, you know, who doesn't want to be around people that, you know, think like that and act like that? So, you know, I think it's great.
And I think that brings it to your next kind of, let's call it, chapter in life, because there onwards you've done incredible things. And you were with big mega brands, but also simultaneously you were very much about nurturing and helping the smaller brands, independents, businesswomen. And just to kind of share how these experiences, because, you know, the big mega brands talk very differently and communicate very differently. And I always felt like you wanted to bring that personalized touch every time you worked with this mega brand and trying to bring them back to their roots, as well as those kind of smaller niche brands, if you want to call them, or someone that's just beginning, to then give them the strength to say, you know what, you're not small, just a drop in the ocean. You have this, you know, you've got the power, you've got the support, and you can do this. So how would you kind of summarize, I guess, your next chapter? What happened, you know, for you that were the milestones? And
well, I suppose, you know, for me, having been in the beauty industry for 30 plus years and starting on a counter selling beauty products, and then being able to work with amazing brands that were enormous brands globally, but maybe not so big in the UK. So that kind of was very exciting. But I've always loved brands that want to make a human connection, and so or have a real story to tell. And actually, when I went off to work with Marks and Spencer's, and being at Urban Retreat, you know, you're not working you're building a brand, but you're working with lots of other brands. I felt that was where my biggest joy lied. But actually, when I look back, being, you know, 54 now, I can actually say that
phenomenal, by the way.
My biggest joy came from actually working with founders and helping them realize their dreams. And in the beginning, I thought that was the hardest thing to do, because founders are difficult people. You know, they have a vision, and it's really hard to move them from the vision to, you know, every meter you push is hard work, to open up their thinking and to commercialize the business. Excuse me. So thinking about it, I always thought that was my least joyful element, but actually it brings me the most joy. And I think that having you know, being given guardianship of Aromatherapy Associates after Geraldine sadly passed away was such an honor to, you know, and to be able to be at the beginning of the excuse me, the conversation on self-care and awareness. And, you know, I'm just going to get a drink of water. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
So to have that conversation on, you know, what, oh, that was quick. I wasn't prepared, you see. I didn't have my glasses. To be, you know, to be with brands that are at the beginning of their journey on self-care and wellness and touching people differently and taking and moving people's labels off of them and just encouraging them to look after themselves a bit better. And then to increase that, you know, to think about your sleep, to think about your fitness, to think about your mental health. I mean, if you go back, you know, 5 years ago, no one was really speaking about mental health.
True.
And
now the word well-being was something of a myth, you know, no one really understood it.
Yeah, and when you think about it, and you were there with me, you know, 8 years ago, I opened a clinic in the Urban Retreat called the Wellness Clinic. Right? That had hypoxia, that had psychologists, that had clinical dietitians involved, and it was all about being the best version of you. So for me, I love to connect with brands more than ever that talk about the best version of you, not what society says you should be, but what you feel you should be, what you want to be, and how can we help you to get there. And actually being in this lockdown right now has made me realize that there are lots of people asking themselves those exact questions, and maybe they're, you know, maybe they are drinking too much for 2 days, and then suddenly, you know, for 4 days they're doing the couch to 5K. So we've got this big divide now of, you know, oh, I'll do this week, and I'll do this week, and then, you know, they might be having a disco in their living rooms at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. But, you know, I think that we're actually realizing now that it's up to us to make our own personal rules. And so I think that the next step for brands is helping people to be the best version of themselves. And that's really, really exciting to me as my next chapter and you know, career journey.
Yes. And then would you say that now, even going back to the founder story that you were talking about, and just kind of people having this time to sit still? I mean, even you who were, I know at one point you were a lot in Asia, traveling around, and it was just constantly on the go. And I think many people that are both founders and both people that are running businesses, they have this constant need as if to run, because you almost feel guilty that if you have a moment on the sofa, or if you have a disco on a Tuesday, then you're guilty of spending time doing nothing.
Idle.
So much to be done, you know. So did you feel that that was kind of maybe is an awakening call for many of us, as hard as it might have been, because it's not like we all just pleasantly decided to sit at home. It's with a terrible, you know, kind of course that took over everyone's lives. But at the same time, is there a positive in it? You know, was it necessary for everyone to just stop?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't like the enforced part of it. And, you know, living out in the countryside when I've actually lived in London for 54 years, to suddenly be here has been like, oh, well, 53 years in London. You know, it's been a bit of a shock to the system, you know, not seeing someone for a day. I mean, you know, most of the people in my village are over 60. So
silence, right?
Yes.
I mean,
but there's birdsong, and, you know, my son's here and my daughter has been coming. But, you know, I think that that's stopping and pausing and really thinking about what is the priority. I mean, I've gone through every cupboard possible, you know, my beauty cupboards, my food cupboards, my clothes, and actually looked at what do I really need. I mean, everybody keeps sending me, you know, Net-a-Porter, matches, everybody keeps sending me things. It's like, well, what, I don't need that, actually. I can make use of this. And I've discovered things that, you know, that I'd forgotten about, which has been pretty amazing. And I think that it's allowed us all to really recognize the value of what we have and what we really need. And in the beginning, everybody was panic buying, you know, and, you know, big bags of pasta and toilet rolls and, you know, water and excess. But actually, we've come to realize that we can manage with a lot less. And I think that's a good thing for business. I think it's a good thing for brands that will really think about how they develop and evolve their offering, and you know, and not launch 60 products, you know, straight off the you know, the marker. I think that self-care is going to be so important. You know, the fact that it won't just be a product that, you know, just makes you feel good. It has to make you, you know, think better. It has to be your mentor and supporter. It's not just about making the skin feel good. It's about making you feel good inside and out. And so I think that, you know, charitable brands with meaning, brands with relevance, real storytellers, whether that be, you know, moving into Ayurvedic or, you know, other holistic treatments and services. I think that self-care is going to play a big part. We've seen a lot from a wellness perspective, you know, clean, what we identify as clean beauty products that, you know, don't have X ingredients in. That's been growing faster than any other sector. So beauty has maintained its status quo. Obviously, the service industry is struggling, but, you know, the wellness side, the self-care side, the clean side, that is moving fast. So I think that, you know, it's all about making people feel good and think better and be the best version of themselves. So it's certainly exciting times, I believe.
Yeah, and but, you know, many people have this, you know, ideas about the beauty world, that it's all about the next product. It's all about the biggest thing, the glitziest, you know, product name, the how many times youth is repeated in the title, and all of these things. And I think there's still brands that obviously do this, and they're, you know, they're going with this message. Do you think that will change? Because lots of fashion brands, they're saying now that, you know, rather than doing collections every so many clothes, you know, so many lines coming out? Is it better to focus, you know, on ranges that come out and are better quality and are a little bit more seasonless, so we're not, you know, having to buy all these new creams because they're new and improved formulas? But will that somehow, do you think, come through to the beauty industry?
I mean, I really do feel that, Jamila. I think that, you know, from a fashion perspective, we've all survived, you know, almost a season without the things that we feel are essential. Admittedly, you know, we haven't, you know, we haven't been going out, but actually what we've realised today, and yesterday and the day before, is that the person that we have to please the most is ourselves. So how we feel and look is, you know, and so it's not about pleasing other people. And yes, we will be, you know, getting back together again, but we'll be social distancing. And so it will be about you more. And actually, if you look at fashion brands, you know, fashion brands go into beauty because it's it's an entry level to luxury. But actually, you know, and I don't know if I should be saying this, but if we look at the, you know, the industry, and we look at how badly Italy were hit, you know, there are a lot of Chinese factories in Italy making goods that should be made in Italy. And, you know, and that's why it spread so fast in the north, is my understanding. So we also kind of are recognizing the value of things and sustainability. I mean, at Kalmar, for example, we have an archived collection because we believe that you should be able to buy those products all the time. You know, if I look at my gorgeous friend Maria Gratch-Vogel, you know, her clothes are like pieces of art. And she's moving to a more sustainable position in the sense that, you know, if you buy into the cut of her dress, why should it be that yellow is, you know, the colour this year, and you know, purple is going to be the colour next? Because actually, colour should be about how you want to feel. And so I do feel, and it won't be everybody, there will still be people that will have to have the latest and greatest.
Of course.
But you know, I think that the people that have connected to themselves more, have recognised, you know, what they need. And actually, from a skincare perspective, you know, breakfast was created to sell food, right? Because you had to have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Let's go back to the old marketing days. You know, the latest and greatest is just, you know, it's a reinvention. But actually, if you are using a product that you love, that makes your skin feel good, then you should carry on using it. I mean, I've got 4 skincare regimes with 4 different brands, and I return to those brands. I rarely go out and buy a new product, because I understand, and I'm not saying that it's all hype, because science does evolve and develop, but and there are new ingredients coming out all of the time. But if there is something that you really love using that makes you feel good, you know, don't fall for the, oh, you have to wash your hair in something else because it gets built up, or your skin recognizes those ingredients, therefore it doesn't work anymore. That is just all
that's the myth buster.
That's a fairy tale. So if you love the scent of something, you know, if your mum wore Miss Dior, for example, like mine did, and is no longer here, every time I smell Miss Dior, I think of her. You can go back to the good and the great. Do not feel that you have to always move forward, because a lot of it is how you treat your skin, how you protect your skin. You know, do you expose yourself to sun? Do you eat well? Do you sleep well? You know, great skin is not one product. Great skin is a lifestyle change. And actually, if you worked more on your gut health, you would have better skin.
And I think, like you were saying before, now people are almost more awake to this whole idea of the 360, especially now. I think when everyone's been you know, it's a challenging as well as interesting period. It's also challenging to stay alone with your thoughts and yourself, and have so much to think, you know, so much time to think, and so much to rethink and to reconsider things. And I think then more and more people understanding I need to be strong in my mind, you know, strong in my soul, as well as then radiating it out. And even the face often tells, the eyes, I feel, are very indicative of what goes on in the person's life, you know. So it's the holistic of everything. And it's interesting to see how everything is kind of almost, it's a rebirth phase, isn't it, for everyone almost. I
think it is. I mean, I just posted a quote actually on my Instagram, which was all about scaring ourselves. You know, we spend so much time scaring ourselves. You know, what will we do next? Will we meet someone? What, you know, will the food I eat today be good for me? Will that dress make me feel good? Will that car change how I feel? you know, what do people think of me? We spend so much time scaring ourselves. What if I become sick? What if, you know, I have to tell you, every time I go to a supermarket, and I've only been out about 6 times, every time I come home, I go, oh, I've got a sore throat.
Oh, the mind is crazy.
I think, have I got a cough? Because it's our mind, you know, it's our subconscious scaring us. So actually, if you can work on your subconscious, if you can create calm and peace and that, you know, good, positive mental thoughts, you will actually be better all round. You'll be able, you are building resilience. So every time you have a negative conversation in your mind, try and bring a positive into it, because you have to build resilience. And the only way you can build resilience is either to really go through bad things and come out the other side, or to tell yourself why something is going to be right. So if you think in your mind that it's going to be wrong, you have to tell yourself at least 10 times how it's going to be right. And that is also building mental resilience. And so I think that that's a gift that we're all learning now, which will allow us to be less judged and feel the need to consume more.
It's true.
So, you know, I think it's exciting times. I'm really excited for my children, in a sense that, you know, we've put a pause on life and everybody's had an opportunity to rethink how it's going to be. Of course, it's going to be challenging, without a doubt. You know, gross domestic product for the whole world has changed, but for the first time ever, we are all in something together. That's never happened before.
That's it, right? We're talking about community, and we're talking about helping each other and supporting each other, and even so many great practitioners that are offering, you know, breathing exercises and help and supporting. You know, we've done things with Gazelle as well, and lots of different platforms have offered services for free, which I thought was such a nice thing, that it's finally not just about making your, you know, your hourly rate or whatever it is. It's actually about supporting each other as a network. And it's so powerful. You know, you can be there and tell someone how to breathe right and change their life, you know, change their mental state completely. So it's very, I mean, it's very interesting. But just to, because I'm aware of the time, because I was told to try to stick to around 30 minutes. As a kind of, you know, just to use your creativity is what I'm trying to tap into your creative explosive mode. What do you think out of this, at the end of this, will there be interesting new business ideas or things that might spring up, just suddenly hit us with
Definitely. I think that there will be lots of, in our industry, you know, in self-care and wellness and beauty, I think there'll be amazing initiatives. I'm sure there are lots of people at home with great ideas right now. I think that there will be money to invest in businesses. I think that if you've got a small business today and the government loan is available to you, get it, you know, apply for it, make it happen. Use that if you've been running a business that, you know, is actively trading and isn't insolvent, and you should absolutely take that money. It's almost like free money. And really think about, you know, building your brand and your position. But I think that there's going to be a lot of innovation out of, you know, as Winston Churchill said, and I think it was a sorority talk last week. It was like, you know, never waste a good crisis. You know, that was one of Winston Churchill's quotes, and it's true, because, you know, we always, those of us that pull through and, you know, keep our head, will go on to you know, remember these days, but also the people that are brand developers, brand evolvers, have got, you know, ideas, great ideas that have absolutely nothing to lose, will go for it. And I think that it's, you know, it's an exciting time, because, you know, as Donna Karan always used to say to me, you know, stop crying and being emotional. Out of chaos always comes beauty. And it's so true. It's so true. She went on to create a fragrance called Chaos, which was absolutely delicious. Couldn't make any money out of it because the cost of goods were enormous. But, you know, the truth is that chaos does bring beauty. And I think that chaos as well brings appreciation. It brings humility. It brings respect. And I think the biggest thing for me that I see all around me, with the people that have connected with me, that have just checked in with me, you know, because now I'm a divorcee living by myself. You know, I've had lots of friends kind of change, including you, and the biggest thing for me is kindness. Self-kindness and kindness has become people's priorities. Not, you know, what do I look like and what am I wearing, but, you know, how am I behaving? And I think that that is a powerful thing, and it might be just putting on a great face mask or a hair treatment, or doing some breathing exercises, but all of these things that people never did for themselves before, they're learning how to. And actually, if we're going to be in time of crisis, what better time when you can tune into a conversation, or you can do an exercise class or a meditation class, or you can put your children in front of Joe Wicks and do a fitness class, or you can learn how to cook. Apart from the fact that my children say to me, please don't make any more banana bread, I've been cooking everything from scratch, which has been an absolute joy. And so I think that we've learned the power of kindness and self-kindness and kindness to those that we love and those that we care about, and the importance of it, which is an amazing thing. And brands that are created with that as their essence will win. Yes.
Kindness will save the world. Kindness and love and care.
Absolutely. And self-care. And self-care. And I always say to people, if you want to be great at something, you've got to be an athlete in your own life. And I think that, I look at my sister right now who, has struggled with her weight since having, she had a set of twins and then another child exactly 10 months later. And so she, she struggled with her weight, and now she's doing the couch to 5K. She's lost an enormous amount of weight. She's been cooking from scratch. She's got more time than she's ever had to spend with her children. And she's turned into a super mum. And it has brought her so much joy. And that's so wonderful to see. And I think that anybody that has kind of turned into a super cook or a super meditator, or even got super good at soaking in the bath, these are all skills now that you're gonna, you're preparing your bag for the next 10 years of your life. So you're dropping all these skills in that you'll be able to return to in times of your own personal crisis. Because I pray that we never go through this again, not in my lifetime anyway. But remember, this is the toolkit that you're creating. We're all turning into superheroes. Yes. And I'm glad that we're celebrating people that most people consider to be menial tasks, actually, and are getting the vote of confidence and trust and respect from the whole world. I mean, it's like, not that I'm against bankers, because I love bankers. They're the guys that make the money and buy the products. But the fact of the matter is that we're now celebrating everyday people, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And to be able to look after them and to connect with them, is just, and be grateful. I mean, I've always spoken to everybody. I always say I can only be as good as a CEO or an MD as the worst person that works for me. So I have a duty of care to, to get that person to where they want to be, from a happiness level, emotional, physical, delivering success. So I've always loved everybody, and I've had a cleaning job and worked in a supermarket. So I know how that feels, and it can be a thankless task. But I think that the joy of recognition has been a wonderful thing. So we've learned more about self-care. We've learned more about our toolkits. We've learned more about the products that we want and need. And we've learned to find joy in simple things, whether it be doing a puzzle or, playing a game with your children, or having a water fight, all of these things that we've been able to do.
And it's being really present, for me, I think it's being really present, and it's okay to stop and admire a cloud for a few minutes. You don't have to rush. Looking up, looking around. I think it's so great. It's just the sense around you. It changes completely your mindset.
I think so, Jamila. And one thing that I've really realised, and and it's taken me 54 years to figure it out, is that when you don't live in the moment, when you're not present, that's when you start scaring yourself. Yeah. When you're worrying about next week, next month, next year, the next decade, when you're rushing ahead, you're actually terrifying. Your subconsciousness is scaring you because it cannot anticipate what's going to happen. So what it does? It tells you all the bad things that could possibly happen, all the things that scare you. So actually, for me, living in the now today has reminded me how valuable that is, and how that frees your heart and your mind and allows you to to do some thinking about being here.
Yes, without the guilt.
Without the guilt.
Without the guilt. I think that's very important. So I mean, I've been having goosebumps all along. So I'm very happy that
I'm a bit shivery too. It's funny, isn't it?
Able to be so open and so honest about this, because I think lots of people are experiencing the same things, and I think that it's nice to hear that everyone is, yes, they're vulnerable, but at the same time, it's all in your hands to turn it around and to try to make, I mean, I love the idea you said about the toolbox. It's such a nice way of putting it, and such a easy way to imagine it, you know, almost this bag of, you know, good health, you know, mentally you're stronger, you're acquiring sometimes strange skills, but you know, you're acquiring, nevertheless, you're trying yourself in different things, and it's a little bit like a kid, you know, you're teaching yourself things, so the curiosity builds up. I noticed that at the beginning there was a bit of maybe downfall in creativity, but now it's like almost a second life. There's loads more things coming into your mind, positive things, you know. So I think it's to summarize, I guess, you know, what we've been talking about, it is the era of yourself, I guess, right? It's that empowering you to do more things and being more with the guts and more with strength and belief, and all in kindness.
What's the worst thing? What's the worst thing that can happen? You know, exactly. I mean, you know, I think that you have to kind of, if you've got a dream or you've got an aspiration, when all the doors open and we're all out, we're all starting with the same, you know, with the same. I mean, some of us have more, right? That's always going to be the way. Some of us are going to have more, but we're all starting with the same intention to remain healthy, positive, and do what we can, and to be happy and grateful to be here, because there are lots of people all over the world that have not pulled through. So I think to enter, you know, when we're all let out and we're wandering the streets like a, you know, an apocalyptic movie, you know, at least we're not going to be like zombies. We're going to come with a grateful heart and enthusiasm and positivity. Although I did have a man shout at me in the supermarket this week, which kind of threw me a bit. But you know, I think that you're also going to be exposed to that level of stress from other individuals that don't quite know what to do. But those that have prepared their toolkits, those that have managed their sleep better, that have practiced self-care, that have ate well, that have stretched, that have actually had an amazing time with their children, you know, a bond that, you know, I mean, I would have loved to have been locked down with my kids when they were, you know, 16 and 6. I would have had so much fun because I've got 10 years age difference, but, you know, I've had so much fun with them. It was something that I haven't had. So, but you know, those are memories that are going to be, you know, here forever. So if there is something that you really want to do with your children whilst being locked down, and even if it is having a water fight in your kitchen, you know, to make memories, you can do whatever you like right now, as long as you're prepared to clean it up. So,
I know.
so, you know, when the doors open and we all start again, and we will gradually get back to our normal lives, remember these amazing, you know, these amazing tools that you have, and that you've actually shared with your children and your loved ones, and you've inspired. And the fact that, you know, like, I don't think that I am ever, you know, going to fly around the world again like I've done in the past, because actually I'm quite confident and comfortable in talking in this way, and I feel connected to you like you were sitting with me and we were having a tea at Gazelle House, you know. I mean, apart from the fact that I haven't had it served to me, you know, if I made my own tea, I would have just felt the same, because the connection is there. And I think that's the wonderful thing about authentic people as well. And what we're recognizing is the authenticity of the people that we are truly connected to, and the ones that love you and you love them back. And so that's another thing to treasure. You know, I've had so many wonderful people reach out to me and check that I'm okay, and I've reached out to so many people as well, and it feels good to be loved, and it feels good to love. So I you know, I would embrace all those wonderful things. There isn't a hippie in the world that would have had the opportunities that we've had to do what they, you know, want to do.
I think just one last question I wanted to ask you. There's lots of different initiatives. There's lots of different, obviously, charity works and everything with this time to kind of help. Is there anyone that you've particularly kind of been observing? You know, if someone wants to be part of help somehow or do something, is there someone that you can suggest, or something that you can kind of...
Well, I think that anyone listening, if you can donate to food banks or to, you know, food online, then do that, because there are lots of people that are struggling to make ends meet. It's the best thing to do, and I think it's very rewarding. I have to talk about my friend Maria Gratz-Vogel, because, you know, she has a sustainable fashion line, and she's been a, you know, fashion designer for as long as I've been in the beauty industry, and she's an amazing woman. And she has linked up. I will post the link up, I think. She's been, out of her old fabric, she's been making scrubs for, you know, frontline NHS people. So, you know, Maria Gratz-Vogel set of scrubs is pretty amazing. And then, you know, you've got people making bags, you know, for people to put the frontline workers to put their dirty clothes in. So I think that, you know, the fact that the whole country has stepped up and thought, how can we protect the people that are trying to protect and save us, has been amazing. So anything to do with, you know, the frontline workers, the key workers, is very rewarding to give. But I couldn't believe it when Maria rang me and said, you know, where do I begin? I've got to do something. And then off she went and, you know, pulled out rolls of fabric and got, you know, community of dressmakers that she's known for years. And they are there making these fabulous, you know, these fabulous bright coloured scrubs. So if everyone could follow Maria and just, you know, celebrate her and say thank you, I think, you know, that's a wonderful thing. I think anybody that has, you know, said I can't be helpless, I've got to do something, and I can and I will, to do that is pretty amazing. So yeah,
amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I think
thank you for us.
Hour. It was so great. And just to end on a positive note, I mean, more than ever, this is what we do on a constant basis, but more than ever, this has been an absolute boost of positiveness, of energy, of the will to go on and to emerge that much stronger and better. And thank you for your time once more. And like I said, you know, goosebumps all over. So I hope everyone who joined us enjoyed it as much as we did. And I think the connection is genuine, and that's why people will hopefully take away something from this.
Everything comes from the heart. Keep shining bright.
Thank you. You too. Lovely to see you. Bye. I want to give you a hug.
Next time. See you in London.
Exactly. Oh gosh, how do we end this now? Here it comes.
You press leave.
Okay. Bye everyone.